Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel Illustrator. I am Tor, and today we are doing the 3 Copic Challenge March edition. That's right, it's actually gonna go up on time. So before we get into all the arty stuff, let me just walk you through the colours that we're giving to us this time. We have YG06 yellowish green, YG17 grass green, and G17 forest green. And I absolutely love these markers, but before I could start this, I had to place a Copic refill order because I was very low on 2 of them, and one of them was pretty much bone dry. So moving on to content, I love the whole idea of continuing my theme of bunnies through the entire year. However, March to me says March hare, and that in turn has knocked on and pushed that train of thought into the Mad March hare from Alice in Wonderland. I didn't want to do a direct copy or a sort of fan art of that. I still wanted to keep the whole idea of it being a hare. I also really wanted to keep this illustration within the same sort of theme as the previous 2, whereas they were rabbits. And I know hares are not technically rabbits, but they are within that same sort of category. And I didn't think it was enough of a divergent to feel like I'm cheating myself, because it really doesn't feel like I'm cheating myself. So as you can see, I have used pencils to line the art initially, because I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to go about lining this guy. I have done all sorts of different kinds of lining for artwork in the past, whether that has been fine liners, whether that's been brush pens, all sorts of things. Dip inks, you know, anything that can go has been at some point. So I wanted to keep it quite soft. I didn't want to make it obvious that there were lines on there at the beginning of the illustration anyway. So I opted for using some of the Prismacolor color erase pencils that I am now very much addicted to. So I wanted to keep that nice and soft, so I chose the lighter green of the 2 greens I had available, and I kind of felt like it was maybe just a fraction too light. So I ended up, after putting this pencil down, I decided that actually I do want to see these pencil marks, but maybe I want them to be a shade darker. So I thought, okay, well, I will put in some suggestive shading using the darker green available. And for a while, that darker green pencil satisfied that sort of line work feeling that I was going for, where it was soft but not, you know, it wasn't non-existent. It was there, you could tell it was there. But by the time I had finished the illustration, I kind of felt like I had lost all sense of the line work, and I kind of didn't want to lose that. I'd put that there for a reason. I wanted to get it back. So I pulled out my Copic fine liner in the green, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put in suggestive lines. So I ended up sort of flicking the ink in the direction of which the line was going to try and suggest darker and lighter areas naturally with the line. So again, I wanted it to be softer and not in your face, so I didn't do my usual do the entire thing, then go over it a few times and thicken up where the shadows should or shouldn't be, depending on where the light source is coming from. I don't know about you guys, but I can totally identify myself with the Mad March hare from Alice in Wonderland. He and I both really love tea. Now, some of you guys may not realise that I have some sort of really weird tea addiction. I just love it. I cannot get through a day without at least one decent cup of tea. And I could not do this illustration without including some kind of nod towards the whole tea party type thing. So of course I had to add in there a lovely little teapot. It just had to be done. I didn't want to over focus the attention on the teapot, however, because I really wanted to keep the attention on the hare himself. He is quite the dashing hare after all. I mean, just check him out. He has a monocle and a little waist jacket. He couldn't get more dapper if he had tried. And in that beautiful set of greens, he's gonna stand out in the crowd. He certainly is. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all would if we were green, right? So yeah, it's about now that I realised that I needed to include some better line work where it was more obvious, and by that I mean I was somewhat losing the monocle into the hair's fur, and I just didn't want to lose that, so I pulled that back, and there is a little bit of a little bit of a mistake going on in the illustration that some of you guys may have noticed. I put the curve on the teapot sideways. Now that may have been a really good idea at the time, but when I turned that illustration back up the right way, I very quickly noticed that the teapot stripe was a bit tipsy, a bit wonky. I mean, oh dear. So I had to try and work that in there somehow, so I added in two like little spiral type things as if, you know, it was totally on purpose, or wink wink, nudge nudge, you know what I mean? I mean, it totally worked in the end, but yeah, there was that moment of, oh no, what did I do? But it's all good, it's all fixed, it's all fine. I also have a secondary confession. I did actually consider ending the illustration just before I put the steam on, just because I kind of wanted to keep it as just the character, but then I looked at the other two illustrations and they had some funky illustration-y something in the background, and it acted as a really good placeholder for them. It really worked, and after looking at them and then looking back, I really felt that my poor little March hare was missing out on some of the action, and I wanted to also rebalance that picture back out together. So by adding that steam and putting like a little hint towards tea leaves and a little bit of, well, freedom of doodles, to be fair to myself, I basically had a bit of a doodle craze and went all for it. So I am very, very pleased with this March hare, and I am so pleased that I have actually now put it onto my Redbubble site, which you can see right here. Cleaned him up really nice. In fact, he didn't have too much cleaning up to do, so I was really proud of myself for that. And you can see him across a range of different memorabilia. I'm pretty proud of the teacup, if I'm completely honest. That's the one I want to buy. I have been absolutely adoring these themes. So obviously next month is where we are now. We're in March, so it's April. So we have April with some kind of bunny thing. So I put out onto my vlog recently what people would like to see, and the main consensus is baby bunnies and baskets and that kind of thing. So there will be some kind of sketch work going on for that pretty soon. So thank you guys very much for commenting on that. I will be considering that kind of thing soon, so if anyone else has any kind of suggestions, please feel free to drop them in the section below. I'm hoping Copic suggests some really good things this time again, because it's been fun. So thank you again guys for coming over and checking out my artwork and having a look at my stuff. It means the world to me that you've joined me in my little arty party. So please remember to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you have not, and do not forget to press that little notification bell so it will let you know of any future arty videos as and when they happen, because they're a little bit sporadic at the moment. I haven't got my schedule down. So just keep doodling guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!